Ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome to the program, John? I'm sorry, John, I don't know your last name.
It's Canding.
John
It's
Candy.
not John Candy, the actor, but Canding.
Right, okay. And the band, or is it just you, is Never Can Tell?
So it's not a band. It's a project. It was a band in the 90s, but the main purpose for me with Never Can Tell is the compositions I've created. So
Right.
everything revolves around that.
Now, I've got to say, right from the very beginning, that I love the music because it has that slight 90s vibe. I mean, reminds me, a couple of the tracks remind me of Johnny Hates Jazz and bands like that. Were they influences on you?
Uh, well, no, but
Okay.
I know where you come from because I was from the late 80s and the early 90s, and the synthesizers and the sound that influenced me because that was what I worked with. I had an old Atari computer at that time. I got keyboards from that time, so it's in my vein, it's in my bones, that sound. So I like that sound, and I use it today. But I somehow upgraded for modern times.
Yeah, yeah,
So it sounds a little bit 90s and a little bit of the modern area.
yeah. But I also love the imagery that you've created. Once again, that's it's very sort of 90s. But then again, when you look at some of it, it's very 40s and 50s. Are these things that all influence you in your musical writing?
Yes. Well, I'm always from the beginning. When I start playing in bands, I early on was irritated by that we have to discuss how music should sound because it's very subjective, and I have my own ideas. So very early on, I started to go out on my own to explore music, and because I love rock, I love funk, I love everything, I love a lot of things. I said to myself from the beginning, I don't want to be strained by one genre. I
Mm.
want to do everything, and that's why I called it Never Can Tell. So I had a vehicle to do everything I wanted to. So I like a lot of music. I like musicals, and I like rock, and I love some hardcore punk, and so on. So a lot of things goes into my head, and it comes out in strange ways.
Never Can Tell. At first,
Yeah.
when I saw the name, I thought, "Oh, this is going to be something to do with Chuck Berry," but it's not. It's, it's nothing to do with that
No,
at all, is it?
no. And I'm not big enough because if you search on Never Can Tell, Chuck Berry always comes first.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
But maybe your radio program can help that if
You
people
betcha.
start to search for my music instead.
Yep, we're going to try with that. We've been playing one of the tracks off the album, which
Yeah.
I really, really love, Midnight Sneaker. What was the influence for that? Where did that come from?
Well, the influence came first of all. It came from the bass line that I created, which is the old rock and roll. It's just in reverse. It's
Hmm.
like the doom 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 doom, and I just played it in reverse. And I thought it had some kind of sneaky sound to it. So I said, okay, let's do some sneaky things. And then I had the idea that it could be fun. That if you had the sneaky part and you just blasted into this Motown riff.
Yeah.
So I had this bluesy start, then it goes into the jazzy verse, and then it goes to the Motown section, and then I say, why not do a Eurovision Song Contest solo in the middle? So it's very Never Can Tell.
It's excellent as well. It really is. It's a great tune.
It's madness, but it works. I think it works.
The whole thing, you've created this sort of this project, let's call it that. Could you tour
Yeah.
with it? Could you actually take this out on the road, or are you just
Yes.
restricted to studio?
Yes. Well, the plan is that I got about through my youth, I've written about I don't know 50 or 60 songs. 31 of them, I think, is in the same category. I think they are good enough to put out there. 10 of them have come on this first album called Sorry I'm Late. Then I'm going to put out two more albums, hopefully as soon as possible. And when I've done all three, I will gather some musicians and go on a tour. I don't know how many musicians it will take. It depends on the outcome of the three albums. Do we need five or do we need 10? I don't know. But I want to do this as a project where the music tells us how many musicians we're going to need.
When you get yourself together and you actually perform live, do you enjoy walking out on that stage? Is it something that really sort of fires you up, or do you sort of think, oh God, here we go again?
Well, I'm not that of a performer. I'm more like I'm a music nerd that likes to sit home in my studio and create the music, and then I could give it to a lot of people and they could play it. I'm not afraid of the stage, but I'm not getting a kick out of it. I don't want that. Some musicians live for the stage and the live and the touring.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I'm a music nerd in that sense.
So you have your own studio at home?
I have a little studio, and I have a producer I work with that can sing and can play guitar. And sometimes I use Fiverr, and I use musicians I know to come in if I want something special for the music. If I want a special voice, I hire those.
Do you find working with a producer is good? Because I know a lot of guys who do self-production find it very difficult to walk away from the track. They just want to keep adding and adding and adding. How do you find it?
I always do the basics because I want to empty my head into my own studio, and then when I go to the producer, he can do things 10 times as fast. So when we sit together, my ideas, when I have an idea, if I should do it myself, it would take me 10 times as long. But he can do it very fast, and I can listen to it and say, no, not that. I want another thing. So that's a really good progress. I would really think that it's the best way to have someone who pushes the buttons, where I can just throw my ideas at him, and he can just crank it up and say like this, and I can say yes, that's what I want. I'm too slow for that.
The album, Sorry I'm Late, you can't pigeonhole it. You can't say, well, it's that sort of album. It's soul, it's blues, it's rock, it's jazz, it's funk. It's a very eclectic mix, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's
you never can tell.
I like that analogy. It's good, isn't it? You say you've got another 20 plus songs that are ready for being produced into 2 more albums. How far along the line are you with that? I mean, are they actually already recorded?
Well, I have the process is a bit technical because I got a lot of old demo tapes, and some of the demo tapes are in very bad shape, and some of the songs I have maybe 20 versions of them that I have to stick together to find the best part of everything. So I have to cut them up, put them into my workstation, because I have to tell the producer what I want. So sometimes I used a lot of time to create them there. I got 4 songs that I actually only got in my head, and I have them for 20 years or something, 30 years. I have never, I can play them on the guitar and so on, but I haven't heard them. So I want them to put them down in my workstation. And so Never Can Tell is also some sort of meditation for me, because I need this out of my system, because it has haunted me since I stopped in the 90s.
Do you find that when you're recording or writing a song, should I say, your influences change? So you have a song and you think, okay, it's going to be like this, and then as you're recording it, writing it, working with it, you think, well, actually, no, it's more this style, and you have to go that way. Do you find that happens with you?
I do a lot of my songwriting. I actually do in my head. I'm not the type that sit down with the guitar and strum it and say, "Whoa, that sounds great. I want to." I something have a clear visions in my head of what I want, and then I sit down and try to produce it. So actually, often I know where I want to go with the song. I'm going to release actually a song in August. It's called Perspectives, and the idea here is that I have 3 different voices that are 3 different characters singing each of their own perspectives, and in the chorus they come together and sing the chorus. So that was the main idea. I want someone to sing 3 different perspectives perspectives in one song.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you enjoy, using other singers to come in and sing your music.
Sometimes when you say this song demands a deep Michael McDonald type of voice, or this one needs a heavy singer, then I want to use that to make, because I want the song to be as good as it can within the realm of what I did.
Do you find that when it comes to promoting your music, I mean, I picked you up off Facebook.
Yeah.
Is this a medium that you think works for people, especially like yourself?
I think it's hard to promote, never can tell, because I can promote one song and I can say this song is in the style of, REO Speedwagon or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to promote the album because, as you said, it's different kind of genres. You can't say this album is a blues album, this album is a jazz album or something like that. It's a mixed album, so I have to promote each song separately. And on Facebook, if you don't post 3 times a day for 2 months, you get down in the algorithm. And I haven't got info enough to post interesting things on Facebook. So I sometimes use Facebook ads to promote. At the moment, I'm promoting Time as a Healer as a Facebook ad, and then that goes a little bit, and word of mouth and things like that. Often do it.
What kind of response do you get from that? Do you get people actually coming on to you saying, "Oh, I love this track," or you ought to do this with it, or is it all positive?
I haven't heard any negative, but a lot of people just like it and play it. But I get some, in spite of how little artist I am, I think I get a lot of very good responses that people say that this song is made my day, or this is a really good song, and especially a song like A World of Many Worlds, which had that funky, distorted bass line in the start. A lot of people have written to me and say, "Oh, that's a great bass line." And actually, there's a lot of great artists out there that can play bass million times better than me. But the bass line, they sort of resonate with the bass line because they like the funky stuff and what the song revolves into. So I get some comment of that. But it takes a certain amount of courage for people to reach out to someone. So I think there's a lot of people that hold back. I like have comments. Also the bad ones. I haven't had any yet, but there might be people who disagree with some of it. There was someone who said that it was a bit too harsh for me to sing, and your body will cover it all in Time as a Healer. That's one only thing I got.
When it comes to making money, I mean, at the end of the day, it's great producing music and it's fabulous. But you got to live. How did people download your music and pay for it?
Well, I'm not doing this to live by. I have work beside of this that I live by, and I actually the Sorry I'm Late album, I put 60,000 Danish kroners into it producing it. So there's no money in this. I think streaming service I've earned 1,000 kroners or something like that. So I did this because I had the possibility during Corona to do it, and I'm not trying to earn money for this. Actually, a lot of people can download the music for free on SoundCloud, and they can listen on Spotify and all streaming services. And if someone like you wrote to me, and I just gave you the album, so. Yeah, I just want the music out there because I'm not going to earn a lot of money on this.
Well, let's hope that Never Can Tell grows and grows and grows, and the next 2 albums are as good as this one, and then we can keep playing it.
Well, I can assure you that they are just as good because they are from the same bunch. And the 10 first I did is not chosen because they were the best. They were chosen because they were the one in the best condition. So I could easily adapt them to record. And I hope it grows because if I grow, I can maybe get a hold of even better musicians. Because when I reach out to someone, even though it's an amateur on YouTube, if I don't have a name, well, I'm last in line. So if I had a name, if the name was better, then I might can get hold of a fantastic singer or bass player or something like that.
Yeah.
That would be great because it would mature the music. And actually, what I'm going to do in a couple of years, I'm going to reach out to artists and say, do you want to make a cover version of this song? Because I want to have different aspects of the music. So my project is a bit different than other musical projects, I think.
Excellent. Excellent. You never know. Could be Nile Rodgers. John, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. We're going to keep playing tracks from Sorry I'm Late, and we'll wait for the new album as well.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And Lee, I will text you when the song Perspective is released, so you can have a go with that one if you want to.
Yes, please.
I'm also appreciative that you do all this stuff. I appreciate it. I'm glad you do it.
It's great. Thanks for making some fabulous music, John. Take care.
Yeah, thank you.
And
you too.
Hopefully we'll speak again soon.
Yeah, just call me.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Ned.
Yeah.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.